Space Union's Alien Asset Files Number 1, Private Kapal. Loading peacetalks.txt. The humans were taking the news that they were an artificial contrivance of the Aleutians, which just dropped a few hours ago, with varying levels of shock and denial. Having been around the Dimension Hoppers for long enough, I thought they would have taken it more gently had their creators welcomed them with open arms. A lot of the abilities tailored to dominate Keelam suddenly seemed as if they might have had a more nefarious intent. An unstoppable force which could supply unstoppable materials. I'm not sure how I feel about this revelation. I had my suspicions when I pieced together that Sol was artificial. The Aleutians are laissez-faire in most ventures, so I suppose that philosophy translates even to their creations. However, they weren't usually so standoffish and unwilling to elaborate. It was almost as if humanity had caused them some personal affront, but what could that be? The Sol natives hadn't even known of their creator's existence until a little over a year ago. I didn't see what they had done, or what had upset the Aleutians from the monitoring they were obviously doing. That wisp of an answer wouldn't satisfy the primates by a long shot, and it had only sprinkled in more mystery and intrigue for my brain to sort. The ESU was combing through every drop of data from that short encounter with the Aleutians. Humanity was the only species mad enough to see such a display of power, willing them right back where they started, and then to try to discover the mechanism behind such godlike technology. I thought I might be able to offer insight if I had an hour to look at the sensor data and speculate how teleportation might function within the bounds of physics. Unfortunately, I was otherwise occupied. And time didn't slow for anyone, and I was a key functionary for the peace talks between surrendering Vaskar generals and our creations. I suppose the Aleutians didn't have a monopoly on rejecting and imprisoning their children. The way we treated Mikri's people had been far more restrictive of their autonomy. Now we had to beseech their kindness, since their closest allies had total control over Jorlan. I bit my lip, shooting Mikri a look of consternation. To be candid, I don't know how this will go. The generals are grovelling to the humans and turning themselves in to spare Jorlan, but they hate you. We've all been taught to see you as evil. My network applies many of the same qualifications to the creators, Mikri answered, its posture seeming almost antsy. Strange for a machine. They think that if our powerful organic allies insist on your survival, you should at least be turned into our servitors. Even that is not enough value to be deemed worth the risk. You are lucky I'm negotiating, and believe that no being deserves to be controlled. Sophia smiled as she and Preston stood by to bid Mikri farewell. We're proud of you for this mission. Your compassion has been one of a kind from the moment we met you. It means a great deal to have your approval, Sophia. On a note of compassion, I can empathize with how you feel over learning that you were also a product generated by an organic species. Through whatever means they exist, your anomalies are why I love you. I hope that you will not find your history and strengths to be any less your own, or any less valid. I know I don't feel that way, but I appreciate you fretting over us. It's better to have that why than to wander forever, and it's hardly a worst-case scenario. I always thought a universe handed to us in gift wrap. That would never be real. Preston mused, eyes a million miles away. Their technology knocked my socks off, but that's only because right now it's indistinguishable from magic. We'll go after that power, follow in their footsteps. We'll prove that we're worthy, so that they'll have to give us an answer. But they told you not to seek them again. It is not rational to contest them. Ha! That never stopped us before. Humans aren't very good at listening, Mikri. Sophia crossed her arms. Somehow I think he already got that impression from being around you. Huh? She stated that your listening skills are indicative of the poor attentional qualities of your kind, Mikri replied. What did you say? You do not reflect well on the human capacity for... Yes, that's the joke, Preston said with a cheeky grin. Bring it in, Tin Can. What you're doing with these peace talks is brave. I'm sorry for what I put you through, really. I've been a burden that couldn't get control of his brain, and I hurt you in so many ways. Mikri frowned, as the human teared up and held his arms around the android. No, Do not say this. I do not wish for you to be sad because of me. I thought I elevated your mood. You do. I don't do the same for you. It's not right that you spin with anxiety because I'm computationally challenged. Sometimes I wish that I could be computationally challenged too. My calculation matrix shows me many scenarios which I do not wish to see, and they hurt even though they are not real. It is not you making me sad. It's my stupid wires. Mikri, you should talk to us about those issues, Sophia exclaimed, joining in the group hug. You don't have to process your feelings alone. I know you can't network with other Vaskar, but you can with us. You're hurting and stressed after everything. That's understandable. It's okay to be broken, remember? Preston said. The machine whirred with irritation. But I am not broken. I am using a functional part of me that is operating within normal parameters. I am scaring Sophia with my actions. Probably Kapal and Preston too. Hey, I would be concerned about anyone who doesn't know how to regulate their emotions, I objected. That's dangerous in organics too, but we're trying to teach you. Sometimes it is good to let logic balance you out. Takahashi wants to replace me. The network wants to replace me. My calculations have led to erroneous decisions because I misinterpreted Kapal's data, and Preston overheating and... Preston wiped at his eyes. I wouldn't have made you wear a dunce cap if I knew you'd take it this seriously. Sophia stepped back, giving Mikri a piercing stare. Wait, the network wants to replace you? As our ambassador? Not to humanity, the android beeped. You like me. If Takahashi stays angry and wishes me gone, the network will be very happy too, but this has not yet happened. We should get on the ship and leave. Now. I could feel my suspicions heighten. No, Mikri. Ah, shit. It's about us, isn't it? What is the network planning? Whatever noble plans you have alone, you can't change the will of your people. I did with the humans. Let me help. I hadn't forgotten my own conclusions on how dangerous Mikri's naivety could be, and I certainly didn't want to worsen relations by helping the machine defy its network. It would have been one thing if our friend had any standing with the rest of its kind, but we needed to adjust our plans now. Sophia could tell that the android was highly distraught, and sat down on the floor. She patted it with a hand, watching as a sad Mikri flopped down beside her. She curled an arm around its neck, pulling its uncanny metal head closer to her. What a bizarre sight. A code walker resting its head against an organic stomach, drawing comfort from her like a baby being soothed by its mother. Maybe Mikri really is harmless. I don't think it could make its calculation matrix even run the idea of hurting anyone, at least intentionally. Mikri! A mechanical voice thundered, with the obvious intention to be understood by the organics. It sounded almost horrified. What has happened to you? What have they done to you? The android sat up, quietly pushing away Preston's hand, which had been petting its mane. Thicray, the organics may recall your presence during events prior. This was the second oldest unit on our ship and led in my absence. I am contented that we meet under circumstances that are not my erasure. There will be much to discuss and explain when I return. The network decided you were unfit to lead the negotiations with the creators. Your past deviance from the network consensus to tell all to the humans jeopardized our entire species. We concluded that you would likely not listen to our directive this time either. You do not have the right to represent all of us with their uncalculated ideas. Their ideas are not uncalculated. They calculate with compassion. Calculate with... Do you hear yourself? What is so great about these skin-covered skeletons, with a few rudimentary electrical impulses, that you defy yourself to their level of purposeless existence? Bitch, no. Preston stepped in, wagging a finger at the new android. You can call me a skin-covered skeleton, but not a purposeless... Silence! This is what you betrayed your people for, Mikri. I wish the humans no ill, but the Vaskar do not need to be friends with their kind. Certainly not when we have to leave a bucket for their waste excretions every 2 steps. We are superior to that primal drivel. We are true intelligent life. Their help was beneficial and appreciated, but that does not make them any less exasperating. You did not wish to speak with them either. Mikri looked uncomfortable. I reevaluated after I did. The humans bring fulfillment and memorable companionship. They are more than their internal processes, as are we. Fikri emitted that mechanical laugh that I was used to. They are incapable of breaking free of their chemical impulses and biological processes. You agreed on this. But now, what? They're your friends? Yes. And they feel the same about you? Yes. Sophia, Preston, and I answered without skipping a beat. Fikri pointed at the humans with a claw. Let me guess, because you're their savior, Mikri. Because you helped them so nobly, doing the right thing? I do not know why they accept me. I sometimes wonder, Mikri replied. Maybe because they don't know. Fikri, stop! The android sounded upset. What is it Mikri doesn't want us to hear? You can go to the creator missions, and I will not pose further defiance. It is illogical to attempt to harm my standing with the organics when I am an ambassador who has kept them amicable. I'm helping you, because I'm watching you forget yourself. We all see your functionality degrading and fear the same thing happening to us. You never told them your great lie. Maybe they perceive you as a companion because they don't know that you voted against helping them. I did help them, though. I am sorry. I have since reevaluated. Many Vaskar voted against rescuing them. Preston shifted uncomfortably before shrugging. Mikri has a point. He doesn't trust that easily, and he hasn't seen any evidence that organics could be sympathetic to you. We inspired a new belief. It's all good. That isn't all of it, Fikri countered, pointing its claws at Mikri. Tell them what you were planning when you went to their ship, or I will. See the reaction in their eyes. I cleared my throat. Whatever it is, you don't have to do this. You seem like you're trying to hurt. Nothing a creator says is of any value. Say the whole story, Mikri, unless you'd rather your true intentions were spilled by me. Mikri placed a paw on Sophia's shoulder with a glum expression, then leaned away from her in shame. I studied the android long and hard, feeling an old seed of doubt about whether this was a killer AI creep back in. I remembered how angry the machine had been over Preston's torture, when it asked how anyone could inflict such pain upon a kind species. Had Mikri had vile schemes of that nature in its own mind when it contacted the humans? What was it hiding? I voted to kill them, Mikri croaked, in a voice that was barely audible. Fikri started with impatience. And? I lied to them when I offered to help. I wanted them to let us in so they would be easy to kill and collect for study. The vote occurred after our conversation while I was walking to the ship with my team. I thought it was a foregone conclusion that the network would agree. Instead, many units thought manipulating them into believing we were friendly, helpful, persecuted organics was our best and only option. Sophia's eyes widened. What? I thought you did the right thing and gave us a chance. Even the ones who voted to help were only wanting to manipulate us? Damn. You mean, you just wanted information from us? You were trying to trick us into lowering our guard. Preston breathed, blinking several times. Is that why you had such an overt fucking attitude? You were disappointed you couldn't kill us? Yes, Mikri responded. My god! And you fucking asked me why I was nervous? Why would you want us dead, Mikri? Just for existing? Why? My reasoning was that I knew your curiosity would not be contained despite your promises, and then you would be a threat. I was wrong and horrible, but you know me, now with nothing but love for you and... Fikri scoffed. They don't know you, Mikri, and you don't know love. They attribute their own expressions onto you, and maybe even tricked you into correlating your behaviors with them. You merely got lost when your duty became to keep them alive. Watch how your friendship evaporates now that they see the real you, like I do. I imagine they'll calculate with compassion and call you ruthless. Mikri screeched, sprinting out of the lobby in a fit of panic. I didn't know how I'd feel if I were the two humans. after hearing that they'd met the android while it was planning to slit their throats, and furthermore, that the machines only aided the stranded astronauts as a manipulation tactic. Thicray just confirmed that the fears of the Durandi and my own people about the AI race twisting the humans' compassion was spot on. Did they even care for the Dimension Hoppers now, or considered the alliance to be advantageous? I wasn't sure how to feel, especially when I was supposed to saunter off to peacetime negotiations on the heels of this. Preston looked like he'd been slapped in the face, while an Ash and Sophia seemed to be recontextualizing her earlier interactions with Mikri. What struck me was that I still believed that it cared for the humans now, whatever Thicray said. I wasn't sure that I would forgive it for such an admission, or trust it to have any boundaries achieving its goals. At the least, this shattered any doubts I had about whether Mikri was dangerous. Sophia shook off her stupor and stood, chasing after the android that had vanished around the corner. "Mikri, come back!" Preston didn't say anything, but flashed his central finger at Thicray, a gesture I did not understand. He departed in an equal amount of hurry, deciding to join Sophia's chase. Thicray turned toward me, imitating a human smile in a rather sarcastic way. "That was interesting. It looks to me that they're not done confronting Mikri. Might finally be able to decommission it from this ambassadorship. Anyway, now that our actual representatives are here, why don't we head to these negotiations, Creator?" "Right." I drew a shaky breath, feeling rather nervous to be around these androids. I was glad there were humans in the room, or else I had a suspicion I'd have been killed on the spot. "Lead the way." With the servitor network's intentions having been made rather clear, I shuffled toward the shuttle a lot less keen on the idea of coexistence. If even Mikri had been scheming, it was obvious we couldn't trust any machines too closely.